Hello and welcome to another inside look at the ASUP family. Today is going to be another addition to the profile series. This time, it's a look at my sister, Dorothy. And we'll listen to her story and what got her interested in ASUP.
All right, so my name is Dorothy. I am Weldon's older sister. You met him the other day on his video. And he told you about some of the experiences we shared at our house over in Fort Worth. I have a few little stories to add to that. Most of what he dealt with over there, we did deal with together, the Ouija board. So anyways, I know not everybody's a believer. I started off young as I don't know, we were pretty young at the house. Yeah, okay, so I was about 14, 15 years old. There were times in that house, of course that house still to this day kind of gives me the creeps, but there were times I would be laying in bed and I don't know if anybody else has ever had the feeling of almost like sleep paralysis, where you feel like you're just pinned to the bed and you can't move. I would be wide awake and have that feeling, but there would also be the feeling of like somebody crawling on me, or somebody sitting on the bed next to me, or somebody sitting on my feet, or it was always, I never felt like I was alone there, and I never felt like it was a good presence. So how to describe that, I'm not quite sure. My mom was asking me about this earlier, and she's like, well, why didn't y'all ever tell us about this? I'm like, would you have believed us if we told you? She's like, well, maybe. No. Most of the stories that Weldon discussed with our entity that shall remain nameless carried on into our adulthood. If he were to think about it, we were leaving our other brother's house one night and he was driving. I was sitting in the passenger seat. We were discussing this certain situation, and we're coming down the road, and out of nowhere it was a 4-lane road, but there was really nothing on either side of the road. A car turns out of nowhere directly in front of us, and Weldon literally had to slam on the brakes to keep from hitting them, and then the car just disappears. So we don't know where it came from, where it went, but it was just really kind of odd that we were discussing that entity at that time. It was enough to scare the daylights out of us, that's for sure. So that kind of carried over into our adulthood with that. Since then, we've had little instances here and there. I had one when I lived in my apartment with my current husband. He was working nights. I was laying in bed asleep and felt him come in, and I remember him crawling into bed and saying goodnight, or I said goodnight, honey, and all that good stuff, and I just kind of went back to sleep. And then I remember waking up a few hours later to him saying, hi honey, I'm home. And I just kind of shook my head and no, you've been home for a while. And no, I just walked in the door. But I distinctly remember somebody coming in uniform that looked just like him, and my husband is very distinctive looking, very long beard and long hair, in a blue uniform, came and laid down next to me in the bed. Kind of creeped me out after that. I was afraid to sleep in the apartment by myself for quite some time, but it is what it is. When my daughter Cheyenne was 3, we lived in an apartment, and she kept talking about her friend Annie. Well, Annie apparently was, as far as I knew, her just make-believe friend that was up to no good, was always hiding things and moving things around, and I would come up with stuff missing through the house, like my cigarettes, my keys. Annie doesn't like you smoking, so she hid your cigarettes. Cheyenne That's baloney. Where'd you hide my cigarettes? No, Mommy, Annie doesn't like you smoking. Mommy, Annie doesn't. So it continued on the entire time we were living there, and I was always missing cigarettes, always missing this, always missing that. So as we started to move, as I'm pulling boxes out of the top shelf of the closet, here are cigarette packs. My cigarette case that I'd been missing, my lighters, everything that had gone missing over time was in the back of this cigarette. I mean, it was in the back of this top of this closet. There was no way she could have reached it, even climbing up on her shelves or whatever. So we kind of figured that Annie had to have helped her out a little bit. And there were a lot of times that, Annie helped do things that Cheyenne couldn't have done by herself. So Cheyenne was probably 5 or 6 before she finally quit talking about Annie. And I don't think she's had any experiences since with Annie or anything similar. But then again, she's fully grown now. But over time, there's been other experiences that I've had that have just gone on. Had a few experiences here and there, most of which are not scary. I don't scare very easily. I tend to put logic into a lot of things. I don't jump at every little sound. I don't look at every video and say, ooh, an orb. And no, dust is dust. And everybody starts somewhere, but no, that's how I got started into it. And that's just me. When Weldon started doing stuff with ASUP, I was like, oh, cool, awesome, and I kind of got a little bit more interested into it. So when we were at one of the first investigation that I went to with them, it was close to somewhere our family is at. We met there and went, and I did that investigation with him and the group, and that was my first little taste. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. And I haven't been able to do as many as I want to. Times are starting to free up a little bit more for me. So I look forward to doing a lot more investigations. With the little one at home, it's kind of hard, but I do get to listen to the audio a little bit more and do some of the video reviews and stuff like that. So there's a little bit for everyone. So that's kind of my foray into it, and hopefully as time goes on I can spend a little bit more time doing the actual investigations. I've been able to go on a couple, and the ones I've been on have been pretty interesting. We've gotten some pretty good feedback, and some things have happened that have made me open my eyes a little bit. Kind of being with ASUPs has helped me kind of understand that a little bit and learn from it a little bit. So I'm willing to learn more, want to learn more, and want to help others learn more from their experiences. So hopefully my past can help someone learn from their experiences too. We'll see.
If you like that video, be sure to hit the like button down below, or the subscribe button, or both. Keep in touch with us, and we'll be putting out more videos like this each week that touch bases on technologies used during actual investigations and some of the techniques that we used around investigations. Also, be sure to check out our website at asupinc.org if you're interested in joining ASUP. If you have something for us to take a look at, or if you want to donate to our cause, be sure to check out that website. Thanks!